This is Wholesaling Real Estate Part 1, where to get data. So data is the most important component of your real estate business. If you don't have quality data, you won't be getting quality leads, which means you won't be getting deals. Finding motivated sellers is the key to getting a deep discount on a property. And motivated sellers have a higher probability coming from a list of some kind of distress rather than a general list. To find these distressed lists, I'm gonna break down the best sources to get them. The better quality your data, the more motivated your seller. In turn, there's more possibility of getting good leads in your pipeline. If you don't pull data from the right sources, you're honestly just wasting money. The best place to get data is from your county. The county has the freshest data with the most motivated sellers. Write down these 4 terms and you're gonna go to the county and request these lists. 1, evictions. 2, probate. 3, divorce. And 4, tax delinquent. So where exactly in the county can you find this data? Well, for evictions, probate cases, and divorce cases, you can find that in the civil court. In some states like Texas, evictions are processed in a separate court called the Justice of the Peace Courts. So you would just basically go to the court and ask for the court clerk and request this data. Now for tax delinquent properties, you're gonna go to the county's tax assessor's office, and the clerk for the tax assessor's office can provide you with a list of delinquent properties. When actually requesting this data, it's probably easier to do it online via email, and you can write out in your email specifically what you're looking for. How I do mine is I request the previous month. So if it's December 1st, I will send an email saying, hello, can I please get a list of cases filed from November 1st to November 31st, 2021, 2022, whatever year you're in. And I ask for the probate cases filed, the eviction cases filed, and the divorce cases filed. Those of you that aren't aware, probate is when someone passes away and the heir is going to inherit their, estate and all that. It goes through a probate court. So what happens a lot of times is, say someone passes away and they leave a house behind, but the kids already live in a different state or a different city and they don't want to come back to that house or make updates or repairs to sell it. They're willing to sell it at a discount just to get rid of it. For these 3 types of data, I request it normally on a monthly basis, and then I can market that list every month. For tax delinquent properties, that's a little different. Tax delinquent properties are only delinquent once a year. So therefore, in Texas, come February 1st, properties are delinquent for the last year's taxes. So I always pull the tax delinquent list in February, and I pull it once again in August. So I only pull it twice a year. You might be thinking, why would they just give away lists of divorces or probates? Those seem very personal. Well, according to the Freedom of Information Act, any governmental organization, all their records are public records. And the county is a local government, and therefore anyone of the public can request this data, and they must be provided this data by the county. So therefore, by law, this is public information that anyone can request and get. So don't be afraid to go ask for these things. Now, one thing you might come across is the person you're talking to at the county might not be familiar with the list you're wanting. If that's the issue, try to explain exactly what you want. And if they still can't help you, ask to talk to a supervisor or ask to talk to someone else. So just don't be discouraged if the first person you talk to doesn't know what you're asking for and says, oh, we don't have that. They are required to give it to you by the Freedom of Information Act. You can quote that because they have a certain timeline they have to respond to you as well. I believe it's 2 weeks they have to give you a response of some sort. Now, normally it costs a little bit of money to get this data from the county just to pay for their time, but it's very cheap. It's gonna be the cheapest source of data you can find. I know for some counties, just the probate list every month is $8. While a tax CD on a bigger county is like $50. So anywhere from $10 to $50 is what you'll pay for this data. And it's really a small drop in the bucket for the quality of leads that you're gonna get. When you request this data, try to request it in an Excel file and try to request the following data: the owner's name, the owner's mailing address, and the property address. Those 3 things are what you need to do your marketing. And when I say owner's name, it means their full name. Their mailing address is their full mailing address. So the majority of my best deals have come from county data. I've been pulling county data ever since I started in 2016. It's given me the most consistent deal flow, and I've made great profit spreads through this data. So this has to be your priority data to pull when you're starting out your real estate business. Now, before I move on to the second group of data, please make sure you like the video and subscribe if you want more real estate tips like this and finance tips, and leave a comment below if you have questions about the county data so far. Now, the second group of data, once you've used up your county data, is more general data. Depending on where you live, your county might be too small to have consistent deal flow and enough leads to contact every month. That brings you to list source data. So list source is a very popular software that aggregates data across the country, and you can pay for lists to have leads to market to. Now, list source will be more expensive because you're paying per lead, but it can filter out certain things to make it only the quality leads that you're marketing to. For example, the market I started in was a very small market, and county data really only came out to be like 40 or 60 leads a month. You can blow through 40 or 60 leads in a day of marketing. So you need more leads to keep you busy throughout the month and keep you getting deals in your pipeline. So with list source, you can sign up and you can pool based on certain criteria. The two main lists I target on list source is absentee owner with high equity, and then absentee owner unknown equity. Let me explain what this means. So an absentee owner basically means someone owns a house, but they're not living there. How can list source tell about this? Well, on all the county records on the county appraisal website, it shows the owner of a property, their mailing address, and then the property address. If their mailing address that they file with the county is different than the actual property address, they're an absentee owner. What this means is normally that house might be a second home, a vacation home, a rental property, basically anything but the house that they're living in. The reason we like that is they're more motivated to take a loss or give a discount selling that property compared to their own personal residence, right? They don't have to upend their life and move. There's no emotional attachment to the property as compared to maybe a residential home that they live in. And you're more likely to get a good deal. High equity means a person has a lot of equity in their property. What equity means is if they have a loan on the property or a mortgage, the balance of that mortgage is a lot lower to the actual value of the house. For example, if they bought a house 10 years ago for $200,000 and their mortgage at the time was $180,000, but now 10 years later, the house is worth $400,000 and the mortgage has been being paid down over 10 years, let's say it's down to $150,000 now. That means on a $400,000 house, they have a mortgage of only $150,000. That gives them an equity amount of $250,000. If they have the equity, you're more likely to get a better deal. Let's say they just want to walk away with 50 grand and recoup what they paid for. You can pay them $200,000. They'll pay off the mortgage of $150,000 and then they'll pocket 50 grand, but then you can turn around and sell that property for $400,000 and make a six-figure profit. That's why you want to target high equity properties. They have that room to negotiate and give you a big deal. Now, a lot of people know about the absentee owner high equity list, right? Bigger Pockets talks about it. A lot of real estate gurus all talk about pulling this list. So you're going to have a lot more competition with this list. However, this second list that I pull has a lot less competition. This is the absentee owner unknown equity. So there's a filter on list source that filters for unknown equity. As smart as the algorithm is for list source to pull data, sometimes they just can't pull a mortgage or a deed on a property that's maybe in a rural area, or the record keeping was bad before it switched to online record keeping, and it just can't figure out what the mortgage is on a property and what the equity is. When that happens, ListSource pushes that property to the category of unknown equity. And a lot of times, the data sitting in this unknown equity section could have a lot of high equity motivated sellers. But many investors overlook this and aren't taught this to pull this list, and you have a gold mine sitting there of unknown equity properties that not many people are targeting. Less competition means you can get better deals. There's less bidding wars, and there's less people reaching out to the seller, making them think the property is worth more than it is. So definitely make sure to pull the unknown equity list as well as the high equity list so you can capture all the potential leads you can get. This should be enough data to consistently get you 1 to 2 deals a month if you're marketing and selling yourself properly to win these deals over. In the next video, I'll go over marketing methods and the best ways to reach these motivated sellers to start getting deals.